First this evening, let's begin by queering up the worldview. Iraq enacts draconian anti-LGBTQ+ law despite the criticism from US and other countries. Iraq has just passed a sweeping new anti-LGBTQ+ law criminalizing same-sex relationships, punishable by up to 15 years in prison. The law also bans existing as a trans person, with penalties for changing biological gender or dressing effeminate. The move marks a stark shift for Iraq, which previously did not explicitly criminalize gay sex. The law argues to protect Iraqi society from moral depravity and the calls for homosexuality. It's part of a broader crackdown on the LGBTQ+ community, with previous directives banning the use of terms like homosexual or gender in media and social platforms. The Media and Communications Commission in Iraq directed media and social platforms to avoid using the term homosexuality and instead refer to LGBTQ+ issues as sexual deviancy. Additionally, the law criminalizes LGBTQ+ advocacy, imposing a 7-year prison sentence for anyone promoting homosexuality. Penalties for transgender individuals are comparatively lighter, with sentences ranging from 1 to 3 years for changing their biological gender or expressing themselves in an effeminate manner. While less extreme than earlier versions, the law still faces condemnation, including from the U.S. State Department. The previous version implemented the death penalty if you were LGBTQ+. The statement from the U.S. State Department read, quote, "This amendment threatens those most at risk in Iraqi society. It can be used to hamper free speech and expression and inhibit the operation of NGOs across Iraq," end quote. However, it seems Iraq pays no heed to international criticism when it comes to imposing irrational and criminal laws. Iraq now becomes a world leader in anti-LGBTQ+ Muslim fundamentalism. Wow. Okay. That's a lot to unpack there. I read this and the first thing that comes to mind is that everybody at this table would be in prison if we were in Iraq. Right. The reality is that Edward Summers, as the head of an LGBTQ+ organization, would be in prison for just being an advocate 7 years. Okay. Me being if I was Butch, right, I would be thrown in jail. These are worse than draconian. I mean, there's if you told me that this was going to pass a couple of years ago, I wouldn't believe it. But, since we opened the door to hate with who, it has given other countries, like Italy, like Iraq, just the open door policy to treat our people horrifically, and this is just a horrible example of exactly that.
This is a blatant disregard for human rights and human dignity, human respect. We're going backwards. Going backwards in time. And I think, I don't even want to mention the person's name, but he definitely opened the door for international hate.
Yeah.
And for people to be overt about it, right? Like in the past, people were hidden about their hate for other groups. Now they're open about it and they're clear about it. And so it's unfortunate.
And even we're speaking about Iraq, but it really harkens to what's going on everywhere, as you kind of intimated. I mean, even here, even though we can't be put in prison at the moment, I mean, fingers crossed, it's just the vitriol and the hatred that is being so acceptable. And for what? I mean, like there's nobody who's gay in the law, in the government in Iraq. Hello, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
So it just baffles the mind, really does.
And it's just like everything. People are afraid of what they don't know of, and right there in it is worded, you can't talk about it, and you can't learn about it, and you can't find anything out about it. There's not going to be any access to the information to find out about it. So people are scared of what they don't know about, and so they feed this planned ignorance to further their own their power.
And investigating things don't make you gay. Okay. Okay. If that was the case, I'd be straight. Okay, to be completely honest.
Well, it depends on what you're investigating.
It depends on what you're investigating. I can't imagine being. I always refer to Nico when it comes to young stuff because he's the only young person I know, right? And I can't imagine being young, being an adolescent, right? Or being even younger than that and not hearing the word homosexual or not hearing the word gender.
Right.
How do you know? It's just I always feel bad for the students here in Florida, right? Because of all the, don't say gay stuff and like that, you're not using their proper pronouns, you're dead naming them, etc. This goes to another level, What do you think, Nico?
Yeah, my question is how is Iraq gonna, present jail beds with the many people that they're going to lock up. I don't think that's going to be.
We're going to have fun in there. No.
We're laughing, but it's like, I think the prison system here is way better than it would be in in Iraq, excuse me. And I can't even imagine being put in jail or, being a trans person and being a female trans person and being thrown in a men's jail,
Horrible.
under those kind of conditions. I mean, it's beyond horrible.
And look at what we were just talking about, all these galas, all these galas we're having. There's no talk of that. There's just talk of like survival and being able to be, period there. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
We're honestly not that far away from that either.
Well, we're still having galas. I mean,
but it's only a few years. Like, I'm sure they have secret parties and stuff, but we're only a few years away from that too. And it's, we feel so secure in where we are, and it's so easy to backslide back there. And it's just going to be an excuse for violence against our community because they're like, oh, well, see, this is justified because this is illegal, so we can kill you.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, there are plenty of politicians and people who are right there on the precipice of wanting it to happen.
They start stoning people.
Yeah,
right?
but I think the U.S. government needs to go a step further. I hear the statement from the U.S. State Department, but to me, our government needs to take a big stand. And for governments who clearly has hate, clearly enforces policies against communities like our community, the LGBT community, I think our U.S. government needs to have sanctions against them. We don't need to provide any aid to them. We can't stand for this moral injustice, right? We just can't stand for it. By us supporting them, by us giving them aid, by us selling them goods, we're supporting their regime, and we need to take a stand against it.
Yeah.
We need to demand from our government to do better, right?
Absolutely.
When we see other governments out there instituting policies that blatantly discriminate and violate people's human rights.
Right.
Eleanor Roosevelt is turning in her grave, I'm sure, seeing things like this.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, good bless her.